All right, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Okay.
Sorry, we're starting late.
I'm sorry,
Oh, no, that's,
That's my fault.
that's my fault.
Well, it's really
Yeah.
the people on Beltway 8.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, we had to make changes on May's, minutes. Where was it at?
it was about,
On May or June?
May, we didn't have a June meeting.
Okay.
On May, whenever the resignation of Jared Marish. So, yeah, it's right there. Is everybody okay with the May minutes? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the May minutes?
Yep.
Troy, can I get a second? I'll second. Okay. Financial report, Ms. Laura.
City number one, yeah, city number one, 40,000. Maintenance account, 57,348.55. Prepaid account, 10,858.02. Money market, 12,855. Petty cash, 534.42, with a total of 120,749.54.
Can I get a motion to approve the financial report?
Second, yeah, I approved
John.
it. Even so, I ain't got one, I approved it.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
It's right there.
oh. I always need a lot of
Okay. ACC report, Juan is working. From what I understand, he's approved 3. We did a fence, we did a driveway, and I know of a house. Those are the only things that I know of that he had. Deed restriction committee, Mike is not here. Maintenance report, John and Troy.
Much going on?
Basically, we had to fix a pool light, and then we wound up calling a contractor to finish it. Put 2 brackets in there, and the screws were gone. The whole
Busted out.
Mounting part of it was busted out. So it's back secured again, and then we had a board that was broken on the deck, replaced. Threw in a new board, pretty much into the maintenance board.
Go. Can I get a motion to approve maintenance report?
I make a motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay. The pool, let's see. Okay, to date, we spent $48.47 on the pool. We're under budget on everything. We will come in under budget for the manager's fee paid. And I'm hoping with the way that things are going for the summer, we'll come under budget for chemicals. As long as our pump holds out, we'll come under budget for our maintenance and repairs. We've only made $3,000 on pool tags. We've already gotten to where we're paying 2 lifeguards to be at the pool, and we've had 4 days that absolutely nobody has shown up.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask the board about if the pool opens at 1, and I know people get off of work at 5. I'm looking at numbers, and this is up to the board. I mean, because we're gonna be fine on, where's our manager, our monitors. We should be fine on our monitor pay. We should not go over. But if we wanted to save some more money, if by 5 o'clock nobody's at the pool, to go ahead and turn it down. If nobody's been there from 1 to 5, do we leave it open for 2 more hours, or do we go ahead and shut it down and let lifeguards go home?
The thing is,
Are they paid by hourly or they?
They're-
I mean, because
They're
I'm
paid
paid
by
by
minutes.
4.
We go to the minute on their pay.
yeah,
So,
I don't know if I'd say 5, because see, 4 or 5 o'clock is when anybody gets home. It
Yeah.
doesn't really get dark till 8, so somebody really could conceivably come. I mean,
I come for sure in between 4 and 5.
I mean, if you said 6,
You just keep it open Thursday,
you
Friday,
said by
Saturday.
6 o'clock, you know, or whatever.
Regular hours.
But
well, if we shut it down at 6, that will save us an hour every time, but I mean, we're still paying
Well, if
about.
we ain't got nobody at 6 and you only
yeah,
got an
I mean,
hour
they're
to
not-
go.
yeah, that's not very likely that you're gonna, but I mean, at 5, you,
Do you have anybody that comes during the week? Can we cut down to just one at all person, or is that not, or just
No, we
one
can't do
night
that. We have to.
till
have two.
7 or whatever?
But I could understand cutting 1 hour.
That's, I'm open to any suggestion, and that's just it, it's like,
Yeah, but is 1 hour, gonna help us?
Well, yeah.
I mean, it'll help, it's not gonna help a lot, but it will help.
Well, what if, I'm saying, all right, what if we closed it on Tuesday and opened it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday? And then nobody's there at 6 o'clock.
I get why people aren't coming at 1, because it's so much
Why
fun.
don't you open it up at 3 o'clock instead of 1?
Yeah.
Do people, I don't know, because I'm only there ever at 4, we never come.
Well,
I don't
y'all
know.
know the younger one.
I don't know that the heat's any different between 1 and 3 o'clock.
Yeah,
though.
it's ain't much different.
It kind of is, because I don't put sunscreen on my kids at 3, but I will at 5.
But by 3 o'clock,
I'm out in almost daily, and I can tell you they.
the shallow end of the pool is almost shaded by that tree.
We'll go from 3 to 7.
So we can do 3 to 7, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Y'all know the young ones, so what do y'all think?
You think that would help, Jessica?
I mean, I don't ever come, I don't know, I'm never there at 1 to 3, I'm only ever there at 3.
That's from 1 to 3.
That's what I'm saying, I've
almost
seen-
every day those lifeguards are sitting there. There's 2
Yeah, okay.
kids that they do come every once in a while. But they're both 13 years old. They just turned 13.
How
So
about 3 to 7 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, regular time, Friday and Saturday, regular time,
Yeah.
Sunday, regular time.
Yeah, for sure the week,
That would probably work, huh?
for sure the weekend we need regular.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely don't
I'm
want.
out of the
Well, now,
Lifeguard's gonna deal with that.
they're not gonna be happy.
Are we
What
gonna
about,
lose them? Yeah, that was.
Oh no, we won't lose our life.
Do you have more traffic on Friday or something? I mean, like.
Well, no,
people
it's-
Show up earlier on Friday?
Last Saturday there was not one person at that pool, all day.
Well, you but it's a
You know, so
holiday.
it's a hit or miss.
Well, a lot of people are on vacation.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, and that's just
holiday,
it.
so
Is that
you gotta
it's a
be-
hit or miss every time.
And I know with this crappy weather lately, it's like I hear thunder and I'm like, oh crap, I bet it's closed. So
And anytime we hear thunder, it
Yeah.
has to shut for 30 minutes.
that's what I'm saying. So I've already said, you know what, kids, the pool is closed on my own opinion. 'Cause I can't keep getting them up happy and go, okay, 30 minutes are over when I know. You know,
You know what?
If you hear
Okay,
one thunder, it's
Here's what,
screwed.
now that I think about it, so next weekend and into next week, we're supposed to get rain, a lot of rain.
Yeah.
So that's gonna shut that pool down. Let's not change the hours yet. I'm not gonna, now that I think about it, that's
Yeah,
why
you're
I'm
about to shut
out.
down.
Well, I mean, it would save us a little bit of money, but not a whole lot of money.
And we're not incredible over budget.
But
Okay, so we're just not gonna worry
It's
about it.
now, I think it's now at like 5 p.m. It says like.
Anybody want to take bets on the rain?
yeah, the rain's gonna put us out of
Yeah,
business.
last 2 or 3 times we.
It didn't get anything, yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be able
I
to go
bet you
Friday.
within the next week we
Yeah,
get
it's
a.
Friday to Monday.
We get,
To get
we
Yeah,
get
we
the
supposed to have a little stars
Yeah.
coming in.
If we'll, because I keep an eye on the numbers that we've budgeted.
Okay.
And actually, see, this is why I bring it up at a meeting, and I have to, because we're actually gonna come under budget, because I hired 3 monitors. We're not paying lifeguards, 2 lifeguards every day.
Okay,
Okay,
Well, whatever you think.
Okay.
You're the one that keeps up with it.
we're gonna bypass that. I'm not gonna worry about it.
Why don't you try the 6 o'clock thing? I mean,
Well, they usually do. They'll call me at 6, and if nobody's been there, then I tell them to start closing up, and by 6:15, if they've got the vacuum sitting right there and there's nobody there, they shut it down.
I'd say 6 is fine, but sometimes I think 5 would be pushing it because like,
People
Yeah.
get home at 5,
That's what I'm
and then they
saying,
That's
decide
what
they
I
wanna
think.
go.
5 is pushing because I know Josh can get off at like 5:30 and if he's home to help me, I'm like, hey, let's
how
go.
much business do you have from 1 to 5?
It all depends.
Just depends.
Yeah, it all depends.
I know me and
I
my
think
family
that'll
don't
be
usually
fine.
come until at least 3.
We'll
It's
just-
just so hot.
We'll keep it where it is. The pool's been closed 4 days because of rain this summer. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So we've got 4 days of saving that.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just not gonna change hours. Okay.
Wait until after this storm goes.
Okay, and that's all about the pool, like I said. We're under budget on everything. Everything's been holding up.
All right,
The electronic sign.
we're just not, I need to know where I come in to ask money for rock.
Okay, hold on. It's gotta be on the, it's gotta be on the agenda. You gotta tell me, it's gotta be on the agenda. We can't vote on it.
We voted on it months ago, when we put it in the budget.
We voted to put it in the budget. We didn't vote on it. You have to, when you're gonna do it.
And we need bids, yeah. We need mounts.
Well, if you need rock right now, and this is a good time, then do it on the silent, vote.
Well, we can
Go ahead and start grabbing bids. Grab how much and email the board and we'll,
get that.
It's gonna be around $800 or $900, but if we don't do it, all them roots are about this high that the dirt's washed out from under them. If you walk through there, you're gonna be stumbling around and stuff.
Walk away, we're talking about the
Right? And we got one broke swing I got to replace, so we gonna have to vote on that.
No, fix it. That's maintenance.
yeah, no, that's maintenance, that gets
I
fixed.
got
Yeah,
a whole
this,
new swing,
swing set?
no, swing.
Oh, then yeah, no, you can, that's maintenance for the,
That's not cheap either.
yeah, that, go ahead, and we're doing our, okay. The electronic sign. So since you are videoing, right? We're on.
I'm doing what?
Your video's running, right?
Well, I think so, and I think I'm picking up the sound.
Okay, the electronic sign. The deal with that is the program is outdated. Whenever I call the program company, the very first time I had the computer, I had to email them a copy of something showing that I was on the board. They would not help me whatsoever. There's verification codes that you have to give that whenever Carrie did the sign, that was all set up. We don't have that information. So I've called in again. I've gotten it to where I can put a sign up, but I can't schedule it because the schedule aspect of the program doesn't work. So then I have to send everything default, which the sign that's up, they rented it for 3 days. I tried to go back afterwards just to put a default sign back up. It wouldn't go up. I've called the company. They've remoted in. They want to remote in at the sign. We don't have any internet access at the sign. So I'm going to have to go back.
I can get you that.
I can even do it.
Well, and I can do it on my hotspot. I just didn't have time to do it.
You know, I can do it on the tablet, yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So Josh has offered to take a look at it. So I'm going to get with him. We'll go down to the sign. We'll mess with it. We'll connect to the internet. I'll call the company, have them remote in, see what we can do. So you,
Thank
Since
you,
we're
Josh.
having this much problem, why don't we see about updating it?
it's $800. There's, so right now, it's
It's worth
$800.
$800 for keep
Well,
y'all
we gotta
have
wait
to
and
fight.
see.
I've got to, I'm going to see what Josh can do, and then I'll start calling other companies. Just that one company, it's $800 for software.
Okay, let's get
So-
it updated to where
Josh does
if
this
you
for
can
a
do it
living.
Yeah.
from home, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
You won't even
Probably
get,
not gonna get any other company, it's probably proprietary stuff.
Yeah, it's proprietary, you
Yeah,
can't,
yeah.
I trained on signs,
Yeah,
I'm certified and all that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get another company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're stuck into that,
Right, right.
you know.
So I'm working on it.
Well,
It's
can
just-
we,
I'm trying. I've got so much stuff on my plate right
Oh,
now. I'm
yeah.
trying. So I'm gonna get with Josh. He can help me. Mike Hall has offered to take the computer and start putting messages up, but I'm not willing to hand this off to Mike and go, here, you figure it out. That's not fair to do. So if we can get it up and running, then I can give the computer to Mike. Mike's offered to do it, which is very helpful. So we're still working on it. Okay?
well, my thought about it is that we need to go ahead and vote. You get bids and you take the cheapest bid and you have it fixed. That's what I would like to do.
Let's work with see what we can get done.
That's
and then-
because I'm gonna have to work on getting bids.
Right, but once you get the cheapest bid, do it.
Okay.
We can vote on that right now.
Well, I don't have, but we can't vote on something
Without a
without a
number?
number.
Yeah.
we don't have any prices, we have to have a
Because what if
price.
I say the cheapest bid was $2,500?
Yeah.
We can't.
Well,
If it comes down
can we
to
go
it,
online and vote on it when
we
you
can
find
do it
it?
by email, yes.
Okay, let's get it fixed.
Yes, sir. Social events. We now have a social events committee. Jessica and Betty and everybody else that's on that committee, thank y'all so much for taking this.
Thank you.
So we have a social events committee. There's 6 of y'all, 5 of y'all.
5.
So
I think.
y'all reach out.
Well, I don't know how many gives in that group, that's, I don't
But
know.
if y'all, try and reach out on Facebook, see if there's anybody else that's willing to help, put posts out.
Right now, we have enough to take care of the back-to-school party.
Okay,
And we made some headway. We got the date, and we want to use the time between the time that you have lifeguards. So
Okay.
you don't pay any extra.
August 3rd, right?
Yes.
And it's a Saturday, so 1 to 7. So there's a 6-hour,
We were thinking maybe 3 to 5 or 6, something like that.
Okay.
And then, I mean, that hasn't been voted on yet, but we did talk about the food because we wanted to utilize what we already have. And so Kelly volunteered to do hamburger meat, and we're gonna have nachos. We have the little nacho, and it's easy, you can eat it with your hands, and then, you know, we'll have cookies and whatever else anybody brings. I started collecting some of the little gifts, you know, prizes and whatnot, you know, but we still haven't talked about whether or not we want to do games or, you know, whatever. They said something about a watermelon eating contest, which is fine, but we got different age groups, and so that stinks because the little ones can't eat near as much as the big
Little
ones.
one's gonna take like 3 bites.
Yeah.
Watermelon.
I'm done. So, I've got a couple of ideas, you know, and it may not be that we have major games. We may have drawings or
Yeah.
whatever. But we do want them to have a good time, so.
and because Kelly got those snow cones for the annual party,
Uh-huh.
and that was a huge hit. Now granted, we ended up doubling what we originally ordered. The lady doubled it.
Oh,
So we
wow.
had a bunch left over, but that was a huge hit. Because we
Wow.
had 4 coolers.
Wasn't a huge hit just for the kids. I love it.
I would say even adults, but we had 4 coolers, and I can tell you right now, probably 2 coolers would be enough
Okay.
for
Oh, yeah.
for a back to school bash.
Yeah, and in the event that we have other
Oh,
parties, you know, like Easter or whatever, then I've got a cotton candy machine.
and so I'm trying to find her name. Somebody is donating that a popcorn machine to
Oh.
the neighborhood.
Oh, cool.
So I just
Awesome.
need to meet with her. I know she's been busy coming back and forth to from work. So I'm gonna meet with her, and as soon as we get it, we'll take it to storage.
Oh,
But
that would
she's
be
donating
awesome.
a popcorn machine to the neighborhood.
That's
So
awesome.
We'll keep it in storage.
That'll be fun.
I have a question. Might not got to it, or we might have passed it, I don't know. But on their, redoing the deed restrictions and getting the letters.
Not yet. Next thing. It's keep that in your mind. We're coming to it
It's
next.
right next to the thing.
Yeah.
You know, back.
So that's basically what I have. We're now going to be getting together this week to talk about who's going to do the food, who's going to do the drinks, who's going to bring this and that. So we'll get that organized, and I want to utilize what we have in storage first,
Mhm.
and then go from there. So,
And then whenever y'all are ready, I can post on the Lake Shadow Civic page.
yeah,
You
Kelly
just let me
put
know.
out on Facebook, save the day.
Yeah.
But I need something that's really gonna,
And it needs to be posted every week.
yeah, every week.
Yeah.
And
So-
something added to the notice, you
Yeah.
know. We've got the date, now we're working on the food, it's gonna be nachos, and, you
And
know.
see if people are willing to donate that. And I know, you know, people will bring desserts and, you know, if y'all want to do door prizes, maybe somebody will donate a door prize or stuff like that. But each week, I noticed, like I said, whenever we did the Easter party, I mean, I posted every week, easily a month before, and everything was donated.
We're
So we'll
hoping
make sure that,
from 3 to 5 or whatever the timing is gonna be, and we decide, then that would be a good time to, and hopefully the weather will be to our advantage.
Well, if you get behind, I ain't much of a hand anymore, but I can still crip around. And if you need something, you let me know, cause I can figure one way or another.
Oh, I've got a
to
retired
take
husband at
care
home,
of.
I'm gonna utilize that to the utmost.
Yeah, and I want to back step one time. Whenever you're checking on getting that new frame for that sign,
yes.
see how much it would cost to get one that we could do from your house.
I know you're not gonna be able to do one from your house.
Gotta have internet.
You have to have internet. So the way that they had it before is there's a modem up there, but somebody either shot at it, shot a paintball gun at it, or smashed it all the way up there. But whatever we do to renew it, we'll get a modem back over there to where all you have to do is like they did is sit at the firehouse and you can connect to it and not even get out of your
You
vehicle.
just use the computer and set in your car.
Yep.
Well, we want at least that good.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you again, Miss Betty and Jessica for that.
Thank you.
The deed restriction review committee. I'm working on getting an email out to everybody. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people.
I don't know how many you have
Yes.
for section 2, but Stephen talked to 2 people Saturday, and they were willing to,
What section are y'all in?
to
Okay. I don't know. I don't know where everybody's at. They send me their emails, but I don't know. Only one person told me what section they're in.
And I just sit in, I
Yes.
know since I'm on the board, I ain't.
Yeah,
but I have a lot of spirits like Steve does. And if it gets into a heated battle,
You can sit with Steve.
yeah.
you're probably right.
it'll be Steve.
You're Steve.
He's used to saying, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, but when he's into a position where
This
he
one.
has to stay calm, he'll stay calm, but he'll be firm.
But what
But
my,
anyway, I think that would be a good thing, you know, have all
Well,
the people you got.
everybody should
And
have
just
an
kind of
opinion.
like a
Yeah.
judge that said, hey, we tried this and it didn't work,
yeah,
you know, or we did do this and it worked pretty good.
yeah. Well, so what my plan
But
is
then
that,
they'll have to be the one that makes the decision.
yeah. What my plan is that once I get everybody's email, I'm just missing one, I'll send an email out to everybody, and then that committee can decide when they want to meet. It may not be available for everybody in the neighborhood, but my concern is this committee.
Yeah.
This committee is the one that's gonna head this up. So, once they get a date, then we can all meet. I'll post it on the website of when this committee's gonna meet. And maybe more people will show up or volunteer. But at least this committee can get together, we can get the groundwork of what the plan is. I've talked to a couple of people in the neighborhood, and I've talked to Steve, I've talked to Pat, kind of an idea of how to get this process going.
Yeah.
The thing that's gonna stop this process is if at every committee meeting, we have different people show up and say, I don't like it, y'all are doing everything wrong.
We
If
have
you
to
want,
be
if you
together.
want to have a say in it, get on the committee. That's why I'm asking for people to, more than the board, so that there's a large group of diverse people to look through these deed restrictions. There's not gonna be some crazy change that says you can't drive a red truck in the neighborhood. You know,
Well, that's
this should
really-
never be Newport. This should never
That's
turn
the reason
into,
I would like to sit on
structural
the
and-
board, not on the board, but sit in on the meetings.
yeah. It should stay so that the deed restrictions are clear. It's not so gray. There's a lot of, you know, like the fence size, the fence height.
And
There's
fight.
nothing that, all it says is you can't go over 6 foot of the crown of the road. That's what our deed restrictions say. It
Right.
needs to be, your pickets have to be 6 foot with a 1 foot rock.
There you go.
It needs to be plain.
And
It would-
replace.
Well, you
Yes,
talk
when
about
necessary.
a 1 foot lot board,
Well, no, that's just an example. That's
it
just an
needs to be
example.
a 6 foot lot board, and that's usually 6'6". If you put 2,
Well, like I said, I'm not saying what it should be.
No,
I'm just
I'm
giving
just
an
saying
example of how to make these more defined, updated, because like generators need to be updated in our deed restrictions, and there's a reason for that. Somebody said there was something posted, somebody said, well, you can't keep people from using generators. Yes, you can, and there's a reason for it.
Well,
In the
really-
case-
Really, I was thinking about that the other day when you were talking about it. On small generators, you know, some people out here are all, they have to have this.
well,
Yes.
who's wanting the, well, I don't care who's wanting, what they want, if they
Well,
want.
no, it's that you can't put a stipulation on a generator. And you go back and forth between what the property code states and then what your deed restriction states. And the property code put out a new code and it has generators in it. It's just so that you can't run, you know, diesel generators 24 hours a day just because you don't pay your electricity bill. It's stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it is. It's so that, you know,
Unless
if
due to
one
weather.
section loses
Yeah.
power for 2 hours, not everybody can go out and start firing up diesel generators.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that. And there's just things that need to be updated. But it's nothing that's gonna change, nothing crazy should be added to this neighborhood to make it to where if you leave your trash can at the road longer than 2 days after the trash guy comes, you get a violation. That should never happen, and that happens in Newport. That's not by no means, because there were some arguments on Facebook about, you know, some of these older people needs to come in here and make sure that these deed the majority of this list are original homeowners that want these deed restrictions updated, and that's all it is just to update it, make it clearer, make it more defined, and add stuff that needs to be added, and take some stuff out that needs to be taken out. You know, the square footage of a home and your deed restrictions, if you look at it, that's the only difference in every single section. Go through and look at every section of the deed restrictions. That's the only difference, except for section 6. And it's because the minimum square footage of a home you couldn't go less than 1,600 square feet. Nobody in this neighborhood is building 1,600 square feet homes. So that you can now combine all of your deed restrictions. That was the only thing separating it. So it's just make it clearer, make it easier to understand,
I think
update
some of
it.
the older homes are less than 1,600, but
But that's grandfathered in. You
Yeah.
can't make somebody change the structure of their property.
yeah.
So it's not like we're gonna say every home has to be brick and stone, period, because every home has siding. If we did do that and say every home has to be 100% masonry, you can't go and tell everybody, well, you need to replace your siding.
Yeah.
That's not how it's gonna
Well,
work.
originally it was supposed to be 3/4 of the home to be brick,
Yeah,
and then the rest could be siding or, you know.
yeah.
Now it's 51%.
Now it's 51%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make that clear, that we're not trying to change this to where,
We're not nitpicking.
We're not trying to make it
no,
unlivable.
absolutely no.
Well, this is a very flexible neighborhood, and that's why people came here.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what we want.
Yeah.
But we don't want, you know, motorhomes parked outside that's hooked up for mother-in-laws to live in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's hard to enforce deed restrictions whenever you're sending letters out, and we have to go back and forth with these people, and then go back and forth with their attorneys,
Yeah.
and say, okay, you're not reading them the same way we are. Well, I want my attorney involved. That's fine. Get your attorney involved, and we will talk about it. I've had to do that multiple times in the last year. Gotten a call from an attorney. Okay, well, my client says this, and I say, okay, tell me how y'all are interpreting it. Because I can't argue with you.
Yeah.
And so we go through it, and every single one of them, the attorney calls the client and says, they're on the right. You are interpreting it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. And it just needs to be clear. It's old, it's gray, the wording is outdated, just like everything else. So that's all that it is. It's just to get it up to date. Yes, we want to update maintenance fees. Everybody knows that.
Everybody.
I think the consensus with everybody, especially on looking at this list, is 8 mils per square foot. Nobody complained about that. I think that increases everybody's, and it's not outrageous, but we also need to make sure that we can update deed restrictions sooner than every 10 years.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to update deed restrictions. So that 10-year period needs to be lessened, and that's my opinion. I don't know about, that's what I'm gonna throw out there. So there's just things like that. Special assessment fees, that can come back and bite you in the butt. That's the bad thing, is whatever board is on that year that decides we wanna build a whole new pool house, pool deck and everything, so we're gonna do a special assessment fee for every property of $1,000. If it passes, you have to pay it.
Yeah.
It's a one-time
That's not
assessment
gonna
fee,
happen.
but that's what could happen. And that's what I'm saying, is that the special assessment fees it needs to be clearly written what those special assessment fees can be used for. Harvey, that should have been assessment fee, because the pump room was damaged. We got water in the pump room. The insurance does not cover flood on the pool or the pump room. That special assessment fee could have helped that, and any washout at the boat ramp. It's stuff like that. But it needs to be put in the deed
It
restrictions
needs to
in
be
order
put
to
in,
use.
not that you're gonna use it,
In
but
case
if
you.
we have a good hurricane come through here, wipes out that pier, wipes out that bulkhead, we don't have insurance on that.
Correct.
And
That comes out of the
I'm wondering if
homeowner's
the-
pocket.
if
So if you
the-
have assessment, and it's going to take $50,000 to replace that, well, then you got 500 people, and you split that up to, what's that?
$1,000 person which
$1,000
we don't,
a
but it
person.
can be done over a period of time,
But
stuff like
over a
that.
period of time, you know, they can pay 100 once 6 months, once every 6 months, till they get their part paid, or they can pay the full amount. But if we ever have a bad one, we gonna need that. Cause if, like I said, all repairs and docks are not insured. The buildings, they're
Buildings
insured.
are.
What is the cost of the insurance for bulkhead and?
Oh, to add
It
it on?
used to be
I don't know.
about $110
No, the
a
insurance.
foot.
No, no.
Oh, insurance?
I don't know, and
I don't know, but
I don't think you can get insurance on
I don't think
bulkhead.
you can, I don't
Because
think we
it's
can
not
because
necessary.
it's city of Houston. And that's, I think that's the reason we can't get insurance on the bulkhead or the piers. Is because it's in the lake and it's city of Houston.
Yeah, I was about to say, it technically owns to them.
Yeah.
They're just technically
Yeah.
borrowing it, that's why we have to buy a little, you have to buy a little placard.
You have to buy a permit every year.
Yeah.
but
no, no.
I think if we add that in, we need a little notation saying, hey,
We don't ever put them on.
maybe this person here just barely paying his bills. So
Okay.
work with,
No, we don't put
you
them
know,
on.
we
That's
can-
the basis of doing it.
make some kind of payment plan that he
Is
can
it
live
what the-
with. Don't go up there and tell you, I want
Oh, they are?
$1,000 out of your
Okay.
Well, they were
back
back
pocket.
tax, weren't they?
Okay.
Then we get with him down and put it on.
Or can we put it somewhere it's not on there? I don't know.
Some of them aren't metal, but I guess these are, so we'll go with John to update the permits.
Yeah. I have the permits that go on that.
Oh,
The
you
pier
do
and the
that.
one
Well,
down
these
there.
are metal.
But did you hear that, Sarah, that I would like to have that put in this? Because a lot of these young folks are just starting out, they booked to the neck already.
Yeah.
So if they can pay $10 a month,
Well, it just depends, you have to.
And that's just it. It's-
You have
it's-
to figure that out if something were to happen.
yeah,
You
but,
can't put in there,
You
we
can't
pay
put in-
$10 a month.
Yeah,
no, I'm just saying, you need some wording in there
Everybody
that you
broke.
can work with the homeowner.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
you just don't go tell him, give me $1,000.
And that's, and like I said, that'll be the first meeting with the committee to figure out how to make it work and the process to do it.
Well, I would think any repairs over our budget, you know, then, if we've got all of our monies allotted and we have a catastrophe,
Yeah.
then any of that catastrophe is above and beyond our maintenance, so.
Right.
But if we
Well,
had
that's how you
leftover
gotta work.
maintenance,
I
we
mean,
ought
that's
to
how
use
you
that
gotta work.
first.
And that's just it, is that
That,
in all
Yeah, word
reality,
is catastrophe, not, we want it.
Yeah.
Right.
in all reality, it doesn't take an absorbent amount of money to run this neighborhood. In all honesty, it doesn't. We can keep doing it off of what we have. We just can't get new, is what it comes down to. The pool is falling apart. The pump house is falling apart, the pool itself is falling apart, the deck is falling apart, the boat ramp is falling apart. Every year that, every board does what they can to patch it. But whenever these fees are increased, that first year, my suggestion would be, if I was on the board, is you patch. And you go another year until you get a cushion. Until you know that if something happens, you have enough money to repair to new if something happens. Not just let's repair it because it's not broke. But to start building that cushion like the previous board way back when did. I mean, because that
We did have
40,000,
one.
that 40,000 that's there wasn't built because we had extra maintenance fees. It was built because the board scraped by and the community came together and made
right.
everything work. So it's possible to do it again. But with everybody in the neighborhood, I agree. There's stuff that needs to be made new. And I agree on that. But to go your first year with increased maintenance fees and let's make new everything,
No.
You can't spend it all. at
you
once.
spend it all. So there's a way to just increase maintenance fees, and I feel one time, and keep it at that, and start repairing to new what is old, and not just repair.
Well, the cushion should never go anywhere in case we do have a catastrophe.
well, see, we do have that but put up that we could use if we have to use it
But we
in
don't want
case
to.
of emergency.
But we don't want to.
But,
I
yeah,
forget what the number is, but it's a nice number. It's enough to get us started. then it's enough that we could put in and we could go to a bank, you know, and maybe get a loan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's all that is. So I'll start sending emails out. It won't be next week. It'll probably be the week after.
Okay.
Same Friday.
Pool's closed.
Pool's closed.
So that thunder's way over yonder.
It doesn't matter. If you hear it, you gotta close it.
That's what
You can
sucks
thank,
about being on
you
the
can thank
lake.
Harris County for that. Any public comments?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When are we going to start doing something about changing our stuff before 2020?
Doesn't have to be done before 2020.
You don't?
Nope. It has to be done before December 31st, 2020.
Oh, okay.
And that's what we're gonna start working on. I've
Okay.
just been completely slammed and overloaded, but that's what this committee, if we can get more, that will help get it going.
And we have to go through the courts to do that. We have to be on the docket, like, at the beginning of the year to get in there.
Yeah, and that's whenever we talk to the attorney, as soon as we're coming up to a finalization that we think it's going to pass in the neighborhood, we send everything to him, he puts everything together and gets court dates. And he said in all honesty,
After it's voted on.
that, yeah, it has to be after the neighborhood voted on.
It has to be voted on by the neighborhood.
So we can't set a court date until we get
Yeah.
it voted on by the neighborhood.
So how does that work for
How much of the
voting?
neighborhood has to vote?
Okay, so this is where it gets iffy. Section 1 through 3, you have to have 67% majority vote. Square footage, not property.
Okay.
So like I have two lots, I don't get 2 votes. This is the only thing that is not based off of your lot number. It is
And
the
if
square
they don't
footage.
know it in, how does that work? Or is it like
We,
we go to
no,
court?
we will start, as soon as we have a copy that's done and we're ready for the neighborhood to start taking it, we will set up dates here at the park. We will hand deliver, if somebody says, bring one to me, I will make sure that we get it in everybody's hands. With that deed restriction packet, because the deed restrictions are gonna be 30-something pages, with that packet will be a ballot. The ballot has to be done a specific way. So with the packet will be a ballot. You can mail your ballot in. We will set up dates here at the park that you can drop your ballot off. I will meet you somewhere. I will go to your home and pick it up, but we will not be knocking door to door. We cannot do that. But the committee will help. That's gonna be part of the committee is getting, the deed restrictions out, getting ballots out, and getting them back. But it's 61% of the square footage of section 1 through 3, sorry, 67. I don't know why I keep saying 61. Section 4 is 67, section 5 is 67, section 6 is 51. The section 6 deed restrictions are new. Section 6 deed restrictions do have to be voted on because there's gonna be additions to theirs. So it's gonna be all 3 sections, all 6 sections. But
You're
it's,
saying that your maintenance fees go by your square footage?
Yeah.
No. The
Not the
vote,
maintenance.
the vote to change your deed restrictions.
Okay, so I got 2 lots.
It's not off your lots. So if you had only 2 lots, but in section 1 through 3, you only had 2 lots, but your 2 lots was worth 67% of footage for section 1 through 3, it would only take your vote. That's it. Your 1 vote. It goes off your square footage. So if y'all had 67% of the square footage in section 1, y'all's vote would be the only one that matters.
We've got 3 lots.
And it goes off to the square footage of your lot, because all of our lots are different on the square footage.
Mine are pretty good size.
But that's just it, is, because you have 3 lots, so let's say I had, but my square footage may not be the same as yours. But I wouldn't get the same amount of vote as you would. So it goes off the square footage. Section 4, if there's one person that owns 67% of the majority square footage in that section, they are the only vote that counts. So that's where it gets kind of crappy. But that's how it's written in our deed restrictions. We can't change it unless the deed restrictions are updated. We can't change
Is there any
anything.
law that says there's a percentage that you have to stick to?
Yes, in the property code, if it is not written in your deed restriction, it falls back to 67%.
But if we decide to change that,
Of the section.
Your deed restriction trumps the property code.
So if some sections don't agree, then they just go back on the original and their sections don't work. Can we do the other section?
You can, but it kind of defeats the purpose of updating your deed restrictions.
I'm not, but section 133, if we get approved, section 4
You
doesn't.
want a common deed restriction amongst the whole neighborhood, so you don't have the whole argument of, well, they get to do it and we don't.
Yes,
blah, blah, blah.
so that's kind of why it's kind of all or none.
Yeah.
I mean, if it
It's
gets
supposed
to
to
the
be
date,
uniform.
if it gets to the date that we start getting everything in, and section 1 through 3, 4, and 6 approved it, but 5 did not, then it would have to be a tough call, and we would have to call a meeting and make sure that majority of the property owners make it to that meeting, so that we can say, okay, we pass this for 1 through 3, 4, and 6, then leave 5, but that's, again, that you're dividing that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And the idea of this is to update everything and get the whole neighborhood under one set of deed restrictions.
Well, section 6 is already paying.
Yeah, theirs, but that's just it, theirs wouldn't change, but section 6 would have to update
They
theirs
got
too.
giant blocks too.
Yeah,
But
but,
is section,
And make sure you-
section 6 is like the latest and greatest
Yeah.
neighborhood that we have.
yes,
So
and
that would be the best thing to work off of.
That's
Just
what
make sure
we're-
to use their deed restrictions they
That's-
currently have.
so,
So everybody says, well, they already had it, they were already fine with it, they've been using it for so many years.
and that's just it, the only thing is that section 6 needs to have stuff added. So
Yeah.
that's why they have to vote on it, because, again, generators just keeps getting popped up. There's nothing in section 6 about generators. There's nothing in section 6.
I didn't know there was an issue with generators.
Well, there, and again, it's not an issue. It's just stuff
They just
that,
don't want to be hot.
it's stuff that's been added to
Yeah.
the Texas Property Code since 1963 that we need to update so that we can make it our own. Because if it's written in our deed restrictions, it trumps the property code to an extent. If it's not in our deed restrictions, then it falls back on the property code. So if, like the whole generator thing, because we don't have anything written in our deed restrictions, so if somebody decides to make an issue, we have nothing written in it, so we have to fall back on the property code, whether people like it or not.
But the property code's done by the state.
They're gonna
Yes.
have to get past
So
that
what would
15 or whatever and
happen,
get
say
mine.
for instance, somebody does,
They're not
somebody
talking
generator
about
money, would they
They're
get
talking
fined on their side? Or
So-
how does that work?
Say this again?
Would the property owner get fined or something because of the
We would
state?
never go after anybody.
Yeah, but I'm saying, say somebody was just annoyed that came into the neighborhood and that knew about our generator stuff, who would actually get in trouble for it?
They could sue the HOA.
They would sue the HOA.
But,
Okay.
and that's just it, is that we don't have anything written in our deed restrictions, so we can't enforce it. And if we do enforce it, we have to enforce it by the property code, not by our deed restrictions. So that's, basically, our deed restrictions are our rules, and if it's not written in there, then we have to go fall back on the state property code.
So we just write generators are fine.
Yes, but then but that's just it, is, it's not, that was just an example.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
I know.
there's other things, and like I said, fences are a problem. Somebody had said, the houses that don't have a privacy fence across the front, you can see everything in their backyard. The way our deed restrictions are states, if it's behind your building line, you can put whatever you want back there. We can't do anything about it,
Yeah.
because that's how our deed restrictions are written. So with this committee, it's trying to figure out a way to word that doesn't make people have to build fences across the front of their house if they want to put anything in their backyard. But something in there that appeases the majority of the neighborhood, to keep the neighborhood looking nice. So where you can't have a junkyard behind your building line simply because it's behind your building line. But it's stuff like that. So, that's it. Are we good?
Yeah.
Can I get a motion to?
I make a motion,
Uh,
I make a motion to adjourn.
adjourn, thank you.
Oh, I was gonna ask one question.
What?
So,
How we doing on the deed restriction?